Can the type of facility that you run make a significant impact on your patient outcome as well as your staff efficiency? In today's discussion, we will be having a conversation with a nurse leader turned architect who designs the most effective facility ergonomically and with that impactful driven design for patients and clinical staffing alike.
Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Rombach, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability. Hi, everyone. This is Sabrina, your host. And today we have Sharon here with us. She is the healthcare sector leader of HED, a national integrated architecture and engineering firm with 400 plus employees and elite clients such as the USC and the VA Medical Center and the U.S. State Department. Her sector specializes in designing innovative healthcare center for efficient patient care. Now, I actually work at the VA for more than 5 years in Houston, and we are considered one of the biggest VA centers as you integrating in the spacing of facility, community, and at any healthcare space, even though we're bringing a lot of care to telemedicine now, we're still building a community at its core, and that means a place to hold all of us. So Sharon, share with something with us. How did you decide to get into this specific field of architecture and building space for the right people, especially in healthcare industry?
Oh, well, thank you for that question, Sabrina. Architecture is really my third career. My first career was at the bedside, much like you. I was a critical care nurse, actually pediatric cardiology with Denton Cooley way back in the day at Texas Children's, also in Houston. And when I had achieved all of the things that I'd hoped to achieve in nursing, I just began wandering around the world and what I was interested in, traveling, and I ended up studying sculpture in Austin at the University of Texas with a woman named Melinda Hunt. And Sabrina, she turns out to have been the sculptor instructor for Maya Lin and taught her the concept of the scars upon the earth. And Melinda was very influential with me. She easily recommended that I study architecture, and I resisted for probably about 2 years. But once I entered graduate school, I was totally addicted to architecture. I would go back to school again in a heartbeat.
Sharon just shared her incredible journey from being a critical care nurse to becoming an architect. This transition gave her a unique edge, blending clinical experience with architectural know-how. She highlighted how her deep understanding of healthcare workflow allows her to design space that truly meet the needs of both patients and staff. It's all about creating environment that ensures smooth operation and enhance the quality of care. Sharon's holistic approach is transforming healthcare facility into more effective and supportive space for everyone. A quick pause, everyone. I would love for you to take a screenshot of whichever device you're using to tune into today's episode and post it on LinkedIn. Tag me, Sabrina Rombach, and share your thoughts on today's topic. Let's challenge the norm in your business and drive meaningful change in healthcare together. Now, back to our conversation. Let's dive into the second half of our show.
That's amazing. And I think for all of us, where we set out to be with our career, our skill set is very transferable into the next step. And when we got to the place that there's something else that we see true passion or what we truly meant to be. And like yourself, we got to take that opportunity and go for it. And it seems like you found that and you had the encouragement, you had the exposure, and you took yourself with that leap of faith and then really truly believed in this new path for you. And that's amazing. How did you then tie it back to healthcare?
Well, you said it already, Sabrina. You talked about transferring one career or one skill set to another. And I tell a funny story about being an intern on a construction site for a bank, and everyone was in agony over the staff toilet was not in the right location, essentially. And for me personally, having worked in a critical care setting, I was like, do I really care about where the bathroom is in a bank? So, following that sarcastic observation about myself, my next project was a hospital, and I fell in love with it. It had a great deal of meaning for me. I really related to having been a patient in a hospital. I related to having worked in a hospital, and I wanted to dedicate my next career to making all of the healthcare settings as successful as they could be.
Yes. And at this, if you think about critical care, you guys work 12-hour shifts and you spend a lot of time with your colleagues in the space. And definitely when you're joking around where the bathroom could be for the bank, well, in a hospital, I feel like I'm also the type of like, do I have to go find the bathroom in the
Yeah,
changing room? Or there's
yeah,
one in the hallway that I can run to, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes as the clinicians and nurses, therapists, all of us is the same round. You're going from one patient after the next, you forget to drink water. You forget to even use the restroom. You forget
right.
to eat lunch sometimes because the volume that you have to keep up. And it's not for just like, I'll no matter what take my break is I need to get through the workload so I can take care of things.
Yeah. So, Sabrina, you just described a beautiful description of what we call a day in the life. So, you're describing the coming and going and all the things that you either need to do or like to do when you're going from one surgery suite to another. It's amazing. All of those steps are very important when we're thinking of the design of a facility.
Exactly. It's both from functionality to desirability. And I was actually talking to my team this morning when I got out of the OR to say, oh, there are some even reps, right? So one of the surgery that we do, meat and potato for us in heart surgery is your coronary bypass. And as a PA, we tend to have one of the more higher level scope than any other subspecialty because we actually operate with harvesting and then open, close chest, whatnot. And so one of the things when I was training this new PA was, where do you even stand, right? Like the
Exactly.
space of the room that we created. Do you look into the camera, the tower directly? Do you look back? How are you positioning your body so you're not twisting and turning all the time? And think about our surgery. I was started at 8 o'clock. I didn't scrub out until 3 o'clock. So you're gonna
Wow.
be there for a while, right?
Yeah.
And then like the small things that makes your body actually make sense. You look up, your TV screen is there with all the patient vitals. Your imaging is right there. So you don't feel like, oh my God, I have nowhere to access. I think that's why sometimes we don't even think about how important it is to set up the space around you to be economic, to be supportive in the way that you deliver care and how you perform at work. So that's what you guys are best at,
Well,
isn't it?
Sabrina, you're fantastic at this. So, the word perform, you just described the dance that you do in the room. And I like to talk about asking the providers and the hands on caregivers what is their choreography when they're in a space? What do they see first? What do they touch? How are they moving around? It's a whole choreography. so that that room doesn't just look good on a piece of paper when the architect has drawn it, but so that that dance can go smoothly when you're with a patient.
Exactly. And especially you guys now have more than 400 employees. How are you able to select the right people to join your company and knowing they're the best people to serve your clients?
Oh my, staffing, that's an issue in your field as it is in mine. The experience that we're looking for is not just the technical skills. You know, there's a lot of digitalization in architecture these days. But you know what we're really looking for more than anything else in our healthcare studio are the soft skills. That healthcare architect needs to know how to not just listen, but ask the right questions and really seek out this dance that you and I are talking about and this choreography in order for that architect to, first of all, draw the spaces correctly and then have it built correctly. So it's the soft skills that we're looking for, that passion for patient care. Architects may not touch the patient like you do, but the spaces we draw touch the patient.
In our interview, Sharon emphasized the critical role of soft skill in healthcare architecture. She explained that listening and understanding the needs of healthcare professionals and their patients is key to creating functional and supportive designs. By asking the right questions and understanding daily workflow, architects can significantly improve patient outcome and staff efficiency. Sharon highlighted how effective communication and empathy bridge the gap between technological design and practical application, resulting in healthcare environments that are not only beautiful, but also highly functional and user-friendly. These soft skills ensures that designs meets real-world needs, enhancing the overall quality of care. If you're listening to us and thinking you have an inspirational story in healthcare that you can share, then we would love to hear from you. Apply to see if you qualify to be one of our speakers. Just visit theprovidersedge.com. Let's share your success and spread the inspiration further. All right, let's back to the rest of our show. Right. And if you think about it, you can go from the community clinic, right? Even though you feel like it's tight, but it feels cozy. And versus the large hospital facility, some people will call them hotels because they have a high level buildings and nice private bathrooms, right? Like a view. And it's all about what's the experience, as you're saying, that this architect can create for these facilities, for the patients, for the family, and for everyone who work in the building. Are you guys focusing on more so the larger organizations, since you've been working with the US state level and government level, or you are more open to any size of project that you guys are building?
You know, our practice scans the full range in terms of what we would refer to as scale or size of a project. But to tell you the truth, Sabrina, where our sweet spot at HED shines, it's not related so much to size of a project. It's more related to how complicated the issue is that the client needs resolution. Often that is either an addition to an existing building or a very busy campus that's very congested, but that congested campus needs to grow. Or it could be a matter of carving out a space on an upper floor in a 50-year-old building that now needs to meet codes in the next century. Those are very complicated problems. And that's really what HED is known for in terms of our healthcare architecture expertise.
Nice. So for you guys, it's really about finding a solution, no matter what the solution is. And sometimes the more driven solution are the ones that are not too obvious, that has to take extra thinking and creativity go into it. And at the end of the day, architect is an art form in itself.
90% of the time, our clients come to us with a problem. But Sabrina, I always say, when we walk in the room, we don't want that red letter A on our forehead, A for architect. We hear what the client's problem is, but our most successful opportunities with any client is not just solving that problem they bring to the table, but us asking them and doing due diligence to unwind what is causing that problem. And you'd be surprised how often it unsurfaces other issues that had we not stepped back and asked those questions, the final solution would not have been successful. And I'm assuming that's also true for you as a physician. The patient may be telling you something, but to dig a little deeper and discover what's causing that problem. And that's the issue that you need to be dealing with.
Exactly. Now, my background has been in clinical medicine for 9 years, but also in creating success with healthcare innovation companies. And we definitely see that a lot where people have an idea, whether you're within an organization or you're a startup. This thing that you find, oh, this is a gap. I need to find a solution to fill this gap. Or somehow I got the engineers, I got the right people to create a solution. I'm so excited to put this forward. And sometimes it can feel like this is my baby, right? Everyone got to know about it. How could you not know about it? But then it takes the skill set to say, how do you communicate with people so they actually understand there is a problem? Or they think they have a problem, but what they think that problem is, it actually has 7 different layers of reason that drive that problem. So it's not really just solving about the surface level of what this problem is. It's deeper, right? Dig deeper into what are all the also contributing factors, right? And just like a foundation of what architect is still, if you don't have a good foundation, you can create the hollow all you want, but the core, what that is not going to be sustainable. And that goes both from a physical structure as a building all the way to how we think about business is human structure. Because we all know we can plan, we can strategy all day long, we can write it perfectly, and you hand to the team. And if they are very easily distracted, or they're constantly putting out fires, or they're simply just not the right person for that role, we can't do anything, right? So I think overall, like you're saying so well, Sharon, is asking the right people, asking the right questions, and having the right resources to do the right thing. And that is challenging no matter what industry we end up to be, healthcare, architect, or everywhere else that matters out there. And that being said, we also like to ask a fun question as well. So if we give you a magic wand and it grants you 3 wishes like a genie in a bottle, what would you use the wand for?
Oh my. As a healthcare architect, Sabrina, I would love it if every facility that we worked in, visited, or designed was infused with as much natural light as possible. That is the most difficult challenge in a healthcare setting. Our spaces tend to be a rabbit warren of 8-foot wide, 9-foot tall tunnels that we call corridors. The staff rarely see daylight, and that's also true for the patients. So that would be my magic wand. If I had another wand, I would fill these spaces with, I don't know, something that puts a smile on your face. I don't know if that's someone playing the piano or the harp or the flute somewhere in a stairwell. or if it's a little hidden cartoon that's in a secret little spot and you discover it. But just something to put a smile on our face and make us feel good.
I love the idea. And I definitely agree with you. I remember when I was a student, even, there were certain hospital that I went into, you went in when it's dark and you came out when it's dark.
Exactly.
Right? And then you wonder why people feel like they have delirium, right? We call that
Absolutely,
ICU
yes.
a hallucination, right? And it's just like, open the window, like open the blinds, see outside. Um, Definitely it's tough. And the idea of having something interactive, put the smile on your face, love it too. That also remind me a museum that I just recently visited in Denver called Mount Wolf. It's a museum where things just become interactive with you, and it's almost like a spaceship. So when we think outside the box, just like you're saying, Sharon, we can make any environment feel amazing, feel supportive, whether it doesn't matter size, right? It's matter of how the space is working for us and not feeling like you're trapped into a location for certain tasks, even though these tasks are meaningful or impactful.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, there's so much to be said about creating the space. And also, how do you decide what's best for you? So if you would say people usually come to you for all different type of problems, right? And if you can tell people what's the most frequently asked question by the people that you have worked with.
So the initial question that most clients rely on us to solve is, how can we either build or renovate this healthcare setting, be it a hospital or a clinic or whatever it happens to be, in such a way that we have a return on our investment? So it's one thing to say, oh, here's a cheaper way to build. Um, but what we try and encourage our clients is not to just go with the lowest common denominator financially, because that's thinking short term. The best return on investment for our clients is looking very long term and thinking in terms of, this is what we're going to solve today, but tomorrow is an unknown. How can we still build you a permanent structure that still functions with whatever that unknown is? So that might mean not necessarily making the space bigger so that it can flex to a different function. It might be those vertical things that you don't pay attention to, like the air shafts that go from one floor to another. Are they sized in such a way, or is the shaft they're in sized such that you can have more air changes in the future when our next pandemic comes along and causes issues? So that infrastructure, building in a flexible infrastructure that will last through time, is very important.
Right. I think most people perhaps even missing out on what infrastructure means. And I think spacing has infrastructure what makes sense. Amazing example you said, right? How do we get more light? How do we get more air and help support our physical and mental health? But also the infrastructure of different domains. What's a workflow, right? Can you create something that is repetitive that can actually capture the human error that we're bound to have, but not become a detriment, and to make things easier? So there's so many different things that people can really think about what infrastructure could be and optimize in a way that supports the entire staff. So people don't get back down, people don't get into the high percentage of burnout that we're seeing in healthcare so much. When it comes to solution innovation. So there are many things out there. I think at the end of the day, right, we all have to ask these questions and have experts like yourself in architecture or ask other experts in each domain to figure out the best strategies when it comes to implementing the best infrastructure. Now, there's so many things we can talk about. You have the expertise in the talent side. You have a large amount of employees. Yes, it's about finding the right people to actually talk about to clinicians, ask the right questions. And you also mentioned about the discoverability of what it is that they really need in terms of ROI, right? No matter if they have a big investor, the investor immediately going to ask, because part of what we do is due diligence, right? Yes, show us the numbers, show us your proposal. How is that going to benefit your company overall? But we also care about the due diligence on the human side. How is that actually supporting your end clients and your own team, your own staff, right? So love everything that you guys are doing and definitely have a lot of synergy. We can't wait to hear all the more amazing projects you guys have coming out in the pipeline. How can people find out more about you guys?
Just go to HED, those 3 letters, HED.design, and you'll find all about us.
Perfect. And then as you representing the company, are there specific type of people that you love to connect with? And how would they reach out to you personally?
Oh, well, we directly work with any clinical director. So chief medical officer, chief nursing officer, any of the leadership team who's responsible for making sure the facilities and the staff are well cared for. So it might be the CEO, the CFO. So those are the individuals we work with the most, in addition to facility folks who are on a day-to-day basis taking care of their clinic or their hospital.
How can the design of your healthcare facility transform patient care and staff efficiency? In our latest podcast episode, we delved into this critical element of healthcare architect that make a significant impact. Here are the 6 insightful key points we discussed. Number 1, from critical care nursing to architect. Sharon shared her unique journey from nursing to architect, combines clinical experience with design expertise, creating healthcare space that are both functional and empathetic. That means any of your roles as you transition into a new position in your career is very valuable to combine all of them under one roof. Nothing is waste and everything is additive. Number 2, the role of soft skill in healthcare architect. Effective communication and empathy are essential in understanding the need of healthcare professionals and patients, leading to designs that truly support their users. What that means for everyone listening is, even though you don't have a traditional clinic or hospital organization, is that when you are in conversation with potential strategic partners, prospect, patients, team member, you need to ask the right questions. And then the more questions that you ask, the more that you understand what other people need, the more you can tailor your support. It's never about selling your idea, but always understanding what they want and providing the right solutions. Number 3, understand the true lifestyle of healthcare providers in order to be supportive. Design with the daily routine of your prospect who are healthcare providers in mind, ensuring both smooth operation and enhancement of overall quality of care. As leaders, we have to be able to have routine conversations, reflections, surveys, in-person discussions, or huddles on how are people actually providing their day-to-day role and what could be optimized in a way of suggested by the individual. It's never, oh, I have been doing this for years, that's just how we do it. But how can we make sure you do it more effectively, less resource needed to be used, less time need to be wasted? Number 4, incorporating natural light and comfort access.
Maybe some people never thought about natural lighting and ergonomic design choices. How would that affect a patient's mentality and the staff's way of thinking about what her day looks like and promoting a healing environment for everyone? Number 5, future-proofing healthcare facilities. Flexible infrastructure to adapt to evolving need and technologies, ensuring that healthcare facility remains functional and relevant over time. Number 6, prioritizing patient and staff experience. Creating comfortable, functional, and supportive space for both patient and staff significantly impact the success of the facility itself. Therefore, what have the space that you created able to achieve now, and what can we do in the smallest sense to be able to improve the overall satisfaction, comfort, and effectiveness? I would love to ask you, how do you think the design of your current healthcare facility is impacting your patient care and staff efficiency?
Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.